Welcome to Totally Random Horror. I'm Tom. In this series, I randomly select a horror film between 1895 and 1989 and review it. For episode 15, it's one you've never heard of. It's a cheap, silly, yet somehow creative anthology feature directed by Joel M. Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bloodbath. The idea to include this film came from the IMDb horror movie lists. Bloodbath, also known as Terror, Night, and the City, was shot in the US and released on October 17, 1975, as a double feature with The Red Queen Kills 7 Times, also known as Blood Feast. The film was produced by Transorient Entertainment and distributed by Cannon. It was directed by Joel M. Reed. It is color, rated PG, and has a runtime of 86 minutes. This was Joel M. Reed's first horror film, but not his last. Before this, he had helmed a couple of sexploitation flicks and a sleazy adventure film. He would go on to direct and act in quite a few more horror films, the first of which was in production as Bloodbath was released. People might have heard of Blood-Sucking Freaks. Harve Presnell plays Peter Brown, an actor and director in cheap horror films. No real appearances in horror outside of Bloodbath. Jack Somack plays Ralph Lambert, a rich, greedy loan shark. He was in mostly television stuff, no other horror. Kurt Dawson plays Philip Lott, a sleazy kung fu master. His first horror film, he would go on to star in a couple more in the following years, but otherwise stuck to soap operas. Doris Roberts plays Mrs. Lambert, Ralph Lambert's snobby wife. She starred mostly in television programs. Bloodbath was her one horror film. PJ Soles was probably an extra. Though I couldn't identify her in the film, she's listed under the cast. It's possible she was in a cut scene. She's definitely a well-known name amongst horror fans, and this was her first horror film. Time for the review. First, the non-spoiler review. A group of individuals working on a horror film take a break for a candlelight dinner. As they sit around the table, each of them tells a tale that they find to be chilling proof that the supernatural exists. This is an anthology film. There are 4 shorts with a wraparound to tie them together. The shorts are not named, but in brief, Short 1 is about an assassin whose final job comes back to haunt him. Short 2 is about a daydreamer who tries to escape to the past. Short 3 is about a rich man who gets locked in his vault. And Short 4 is about a crooked martial artist who has to face the master of his craft. A lot of people will start watching this thing and think, this is crap. And they wouldn't be wrong. This is a no-budget movie. The opening scene alone is so cheap and shot in such a weird way, and the quality of the available film is so poor that people will likely shut it off. I would have, but I had to review it. I will say that it is barely watchable. It is intended to be campy with tongue planted firmly in cheek. When that's the case, the film has to be funny though. This film is only funny in that it is strange and random. The humor didn't hit for me. This could be because it's from the 70s. Skin and blood are at a minimum, so it's hard for me to critique the tone. But if I was meant to be thrilled, scared, or excited, I wasn't. If I was meant to laugh, I didn't. None of the shorts stand out to me as you have to see this. The first short about the assassin was the best in my opinion. The wraparound story was just ridiculous, and tongue-in-cheek doesn't save bad acting. Now the spoiler review. 5 stories all told. What makes them horror? I'll tell you in brief. The wraparound story contains a deal with the devil, elites being involved in occult practices, and demonic influences holding sway in our reality. The assassin story is about fate, about things that you've done coming back around to take you down when you least expect it. The daydreamer story is about being trapped in an undesirable relationship and a be careful what you wish for element. The businessman story is fear of ghosts and being trapped in isolation and starvation. And the martial arts story is just ridiculous. It's not scary at all. Okay, Joel M. Reed, show us what you got. Okay, cool skell. I'll take it. This music, though. So the wraparound story starts with a wedding. The person doing the marrying is expressing the terms of the marriage. Which is the legal way of saying you gotta smash and make a child. The man getting married is Peter Brown, and we like extreme close-ups in this part of the film. Brown seems hesitant to agree to the marriage. Hey, material gains and artistic successes. You just gotta do the business with your wife? Why would you be hesitant? Maybe she's a ghoul or something. Still, Oh, look at those ears. They're not even the same color as his skin. Okay, so she's immortal. Guy's getting married to an immortal. Here's the big reveal. Huh? She's got orange skin and cotton balls stuck to her forehead, but otherwise she seems normal. And they start laughing. I guess they're happy for the new couple. The devil's really happy. Look at that face. We cut to a ritual sacrifice. A scantily clad lady squirms on the table, awaiting her death as Peter chants and offers her to the demons or whatever. From the red smoke emerges the devil with glow-in-the-dark horns. I think this is the same one that was at the wedding. Peter tries to back off, but the devil chokes him to death. He is about to sacrifice the lady when Peter breaks the fourth wall, looking to the camera, smiling and winking. Yeah, right. This is such a stupid movie. You expect me to believe that someone who's been on 1,000 horror movie sets actually believed with a flash paper and a smoke machine that Peter conjured up the devil. Did he not know that the devil actor was on the set? If they're filming, why would you waste a take like that? I answered this question before, because it is such a stupid movie. He introduces us to Cynthia, the maiden, and Jerry, the devil. Now this is kind of interesting. He mentions that Peter is a sadist because of the films he makes, and that in 30s Germany, horror was more sophisticated. I checked and he might be talking about Der Student von Prague, the student of Prague. Oh, so the secret is out. So the first scene actually did happen. So why did this guy play the devil in the beginning? My head is hurting. So rumor is that the devil was the female that he married. Why would anyone believe this? It's like a fairy tale. But I guess, especially nowadays, people will believe absolutely anything. Like the mistake of watching this movie. They spoil the ending of the next story of assassin George Lake getting blown to bits by his own bomb in order to bring up the topic of fate. Peter says it was an electrical malfunction, but Jerry the devil is a cop in his spare time, and he's seen the evidence, and thus has reasons to believe it was fate. Let's find evidence for fate, shall we? I'm going to call this story, It's the Same Car, damn it. We open on a fortune teller telling George that he's evil and a bad person, and that bad things will happen to him tomorrow. We cut to one of George's previous jobs, the Berman case where he murders a labor leader. And here comes one of the most convoluted assassination scenes I've ever witnessed. In case you ever want to be an expert assassin, here are the steps. 1. Walk to your destination wearing a lab coat and carrying packages. 2. Put on rubbly gloves and pick the door lock to enter the apartment. 3. Produce a tape player out of your package in order to make the girl in the bathtub think that you're the target. Of course, you knew before you arrived that she'd be in the tub. 4. Put shower caps on your feet. I assume to keep the blood off your shoes. And a face mask, for the same reason. Number 5. Who is this girl, Betty Boop? Number 6. Lure the girl out of the bath with a tape recorder. 7. Slit the girl's throat while a sculpture on the shelf rotates on its own. Because. Seriously, this never gets brought up again. Number 8. Wait for the arrival of that 70s show. Number 9. Plant a girl in the bedroom with a tape recorder of her voice telling him to come into the bedroom. Number 10. Stab the guy in the back. Number 11. Take his money to make it look like a robbery. And number 12. Magically make the blood disappear off your clothing and leave. Okay, let's talk about this. In order to pull this off, George would have to have access to a man and a woman who could imitate the victims' voices perfectly and know how those people would act and what they would talk like when they're at home. He'd have to pre-record tapes of these people talking in a way that would lure the victim to him, which takes a large degree of prescience. Also, why am I doing this? Why am I trying to make sense of this nonsense? Forget it. Cut back to the, oh, they're at dinner now. Interesting choice, movie. Anyway, Peter says the bomb that killed George probably malfunctioned. Jerry, the devil cop, says that they rebuilt the bomb that killed him. It was flawless. And how do they know? forget it. I'm going to be saying forget it a lot today to save my brain. Back to the short, George is showing the mobsters the bomb he will be using to blow up a guy in his car. It's a match of the target's lawyer's briefcase. He's going to plant the bomb in the back seat of the car so the target will think his lawyer accidentally left it. George dresses like a cop. That's the target, I guess? George asks to sit in the target's car, I guess because it's a rare, fancy model. And the target says yes. George swaps the briefcases and gets out of the car. Now George is driving to the airport, but his car runs out of gas. He decides to hoof it and is... What in the world? So driver offers George a lift, George gets into the car and... Oh, for the love of Pete. George starts to notice similarities to the car he just put the bomb into. The briefcase is in the back seat. So this is the same car. You mean he didn't notice it was the same car before he got in? Did he not look at the car he planted the bomb in? It was supposedly a fancy car, so there shouldn't be a lot of them on the street. I guess he had to forget what the car looked like for the story to work. This is just... forget it. The idiot assassin evacuates and makes his way to a diner, but when he's there, the car thief brings him the briefcase he left in the back seat of the car, but it's time for the bomb to go off, and it does. Why would a car thief double back to give this idiot assassin the case, and how did he know where... Forget it. Back to the dinner party. The producer knows another story that proves the occult is real, because we all know anecdotes are always true in horror films. Story 2 is about Don Savage. Ooh, he looks like a savage. He's a daydreamer with glasses to end all glasses and eyebrows to match. He imagines himself dressed like Napoleon and dancing with a pretty lady. I think the actress didn't want to kiss him, so they float down off camera. Don goes to the fortune teller to get poison for his wife, as you do. She gives him what she openly calls snake oil. And then produces a coin that will grant every wish. She sells it to him for $10. That's a lot of juice. Then we meet Don's wife. What? So this woman seems annoying, but she obviously likes to smash. I think most guys would take that deal. But not Don. Don wishes himself away to being one of Napoleon's generals in a great battle. Don awakens and seems satisfied at first, but he soon realizes the mistake that he's made. He's in a cramped bunker, everything smells terrible, they'll be eating rats for brunch, the medical care is primitive, and they amputate a guy's leg when he's injured. A farewell to feet. And in come the hooers. They entertained 2 other squadrons today. That's a lot of smash. Don pulls out the coin to wish himself away, but one of the escorts takes it from him. Before he can retrieve it, he is sent into battle. Dude fights guys on horses, I guess, and returns injured. And I guess they gotta amputate everything here. With the butcher knife, he gets his coin back and wishes to go home, but it's too late. Who talks like that? Don's wife, I guess. And while she's wondering where her husband went, she finds his arm has reappeared in bed, holding the coin. I guess during the battle, he was disarmed. We cut to roast beef. Fair edit. Let's talk about this. The old producers said that this was proof that the occult was real, but even if a man vanished from his bed, how in the heck would anyone know where he went? It's not like he could tell them. There's no way to investigate. Forget it. Now this girl's gonna tell her story about her father Ralph, who is a factor. What's a semi-respectable loan shark look like? This, I guess. Come on, people. We all knew as soon as we heard loan shark exactly what this character would act like. Yep, that was the word you thought it was. Ah, the 70s. Ralph and his wife are going on separate vacations. He has an airline stewardess on the side whom he intends to meet. The The secretary is on a month-long vacation as well. All the utilities will be shut off while everyone is gone. Dude pulls an open carton of milk out of his desk drawer. I guess this is supposed to be funny. Forget it. I have nothing to say about this. This film is a disgrace. I can see the script being written. How do we get this character into the safe? He wants to relax and drink his milk in there. Comedy. That's the safe? That's just a door. That's just a door. Is he reading financial records? Seriously? I mean, if this is a comedy, I guess it's fine. We're not supposed to take anything seriously, but these characters do stupid things just because it moves the plot forward. Ralph hears a noise. Of course he's packing heat. Who made the soundtrack? If you find him, punch him. Hey look, it's the substitution trick, just like they did in 1895. I'm convinced a third grader wrote this. The ghost who is named Earl has come to haunt the loan shark. Turns out Ralph didn't give him an extension on a car payment, so he robbed a store and got shot. If he can get the car back, I guess he can go to heaven. You know, forget it. But Ralph's not scared. The ghost who bugs. Turns out the one doing the bugging is Ralph. The secretary comes back, sees the safe open, and closes the safe. Start yelling, you nunts! She can hear you! It's just a door! Now that Ralph is locked in, he struggles to find a way to survive for a month, as he will die in a couple of weeks from starvation. Even the ghost abandons him. But when the secretary and Ralph's wife return in a month, they realize Ralph was trapped in the safe. Sure enough, they discover Ralph in the safe, emaciated with gray beard and hair, eating his money. I'll say that image is kind of creepy and well done. Wait, I thought he was done in by a ghost. Did he die right at... Forget it. Back to dinner. Yeah, it was an accident. Cynthia is going to tell the final story about American Kung Fu master Philip Lott, who killed 50 men with his bare hands. You mean Shaolin? Here's his dojo. He was taught 9 of the 10 sacred secrets of self-defense by his master. This guy's a shyster, and he's offering to teach the sacred secrets for a price. Cut to him calmly eating food while in receipt of oral sex. Wow, he doesn't even seem to care. He has car magazines on the bed. Maybe they were looking at them before... forget it. A student shows up to learn the first secret. Philip goes about hiding everything in the room, including the girl, who speaks clearly and loudly enough for the student outside to hear. Nice ride. Philip continues to shake down his student. Now we're on an island, probably the one where the Shaolin Monastery exists. Some dude named Chung is playing the flute, and then some thugs show up in a fight. Is this like every day on the Shaolin Island? Holy cow, these moves are so slow. Guys are just waiting on the sidelines for their turn to get beat up. Shot like a true Z movie. Chung takes a walk to a place where a man wearing camouflage sits in a nest. His name is Master Lam, Lord Giver of the Martial Arts. Chung tells Master Lam about Philip selling the secrets. Master Lam, who is obviously not an American. Like this movie? Oh, the girl said Shaolin. I guess it's Shaylin. I should trust the Lord Giver of the Martial Arts. Chung, servant of Lam, the strongest fighter of the Wang school, knocks on the door and look at the door physics. Where were the play testers? They fight, and he pulls a pipe out of the wall? Unique. Chung jumps up to avoid it and jumps back down. Then he bends the pipe off camera. This causes them to make a truce. Then Chung invites a pretty girl in and they have brunch. Chung offers money and the woman to Philip to get him to fight his master Lam to the death. And and Lam is next. And Lam is in the next room, and he has no limbs. I'm sure they'll explain this. How's he sitting upright like that? Lam knows the 10th secret, and he explains how he lost his arms and legs. He cut them off. Himself. I'm not even going to tell you why. It doesn't matter. Look at this foolishness. This is embarrassing. This guy knows the 10th secret, however, so Peter leaves. But he can't escape because bricks, so he gets a gun. He tries to shoot him, but... Yep. Of course. The 10th secret. When Philip comes to, he finds he won, but he has lost his body. His head is on a... Well, you listen to this. And he can be shut off. Finally, the end to the wraparound story. Cynthia is waiting for Peter backstage at the theater. So they make out, but someone or something is watching from behind a chain door. Peter shoos out Cynthia. An orange hand comes out of the hinged door and unlocks? Why didn't he do that a long time ago? Forget it. We get a little first-person shooter here. Demon hand. We scare a girl. Oh my god, what horrible acting! Philip comes back to give his prisoner a... just look. Demon kills a guy. Sees a woman in a window. The demon's name is Conrad, I guess. Conrad's macking on this chick when... Door physics again, ha ha ha! And after Peter shoots Conrad, Conrad says this. Then the movie ends. So that's Bloodbath. The people in this movie act like aliens. What can I say that hasn't already been said? What can I say that the film didn't tell you itself? I'm glad movies like this exist. The world is a much stranger place. Okay, I'm Tom, and that was totally random.